Hey everyone, I'm Russ.
And I'm Angie.
And I am a recovering addict to pornography, masturbation, and other sexual behaviors. In this episode, we are going to talk about honesty and the importance of being honest with yourself and with those around you.
But first, I want to just quickly thank all of you, really, for the support and the love that we've received so far just from our first video. And also say thank you to all those who have reached out to us and that have shared your stories. I am truly sorry for your heartbreak. Obviously, we know that all too well. But thank you for reaching out. And we hope to be able to continue to grow a relationship with many of you. So thank you again.
We chose for this episode to be about honesty because being honest with yourself is the first step in any addiction recovery program. We truly believe that being honest with yourself and with others will allow you to progress in the following steps. If you are not taking your addiction seriously and being honest with your sponsors, your spouses, your counselors, they are not going to be able to help you the most effective way. So the first step is admitting that you do have an addiction and that you are unable to overcome it by yourself. Like myself, when I was younger, I thought that I would be able to get over it myself, that I didn't need anybody's help, that I could stop on my own and I would be able to just get over it. Time after time proved that I was incapable of doing that. And it wasn't until I found professional help and programs and groups that I had the support and also opened up to other people. We found the more that we opened up to our loved ones, that they were more willing and able to help.
So when we finally had complete honesty in our marriage is when we were finally able to work through everything that was going on in our lives and to be able to rebuild trust, because obviously for the majority of our marriage, we've been married for almost 9 years, there wasn't complete honesty, and that kept us from progressing and from being able to move forward and from being able to really get the help that we needed.
Throughout our marriage, when I wasn't being completely honest, it was because I was afraid of the way she would react, even the smallest white lies. I had a perception in my mind how she would initially react to something that I needed to tell her about. And so because of that perception, I would lie to her to keep from hurting her, to keep us from being in an argument, to
protect yourself too.
Yeah, to protect myself, because I didn't want to be hurt, or I didn't want to be disciplined. I didn't want to face the consequences.
And I think too, when you are completely honest, you're admitting that you were in the wrong with something, right? Like, that's probably what kept him back from being honest for so long, is if he admitted that, then he was recognizing that there was something wrong that he did.
That's correct. I didn't want to affect my ego, my perception, the way people saw me. I didn't want to affect the way that she saw me.
And deep inside, you also just felt like if I knew what was really going on with you and everything that was really going on with you, that I wouldn't love you.
Yeah, I was afraid that she would pack her bags and walk away. Even though she's stuck around for so long, she's been so supportive and loving and caring.
It hasn't been easy, but yeah. So about a few years ago, we ended up setting boundaries in our marriage, which were like completely foreign to me. And we'll go into that in another video, like all about boundaries. But one of the boundaries was honesty from him and complete transparency. And obviously, it didn't happen 100% of the time, or I would have known about some of the things that were happening a long time ago. But we did have the boundary of honesty, and like, for example, if he did relapse or if he did lie to me about something, he had to tell me within 24 hours. And I think that also helped him to be able to process and to be able to think about how he was going to say things.
But not lie. I didn't take that time to come up with a story or a lie. It just, I guess in a way, trying to find the right timing. If I wanted to come home and tell her about something, and the kids were running around, or she needed help with something, I wouldn't obviously tell her right away. It wasn't the right timing, but within 24 hours, there should be a window of opportunity for you to come out with the truth. So that includes being honest with everything. So when she says, honey, do these pants make my butt look big? Yes, honey, they do.
Well, I now would take that as a compliment, so whatever.
But it's important to be honest with everything. Those little white lies are what build up into covering up bigger lies. If you keep letting these little things slip by and, okay, it's nothing big.
You justify.
Yep.
You keep justifying.
Yes, then it becomes easier to justify your actions and the reasons why you are lying in the first place, or to rationalize and come up with reasons to lie. So it's important to be honest with everything because it helps build that trust relationship between you and your spouse, or you and your loved ones, those who are supporting you in your recovery.
So as a support person, it can be really hard to hear sometimes what the truth is, especially if your spouse is coming to you with some really heavy things. I think in our marriage, one of the things that was really hard was that a lot of the times I would find out things the hard way without him being honest first. And so that immediately created sort of just an automatic reaction from me. And he just thought that even if he was honest with me, he was still going to get that same reaction. Even though I told him time and time again that I just wanted him to be honest and to be truthful, and that if he just did that, then my reaction would be different. So I think it's important as a support person to act and not react to a situation. If you have to just let it all come into you for 5 minutes and say, I need some time to process this, then walk away and think about what's really happening and what's going on, then that is okay. You can do that. If you need to take a day to process what just happened, you can do that. But that will also be able to help the addict to build the trust both ways. So he feels like he can come to me with something, and I feel like I can trust what he's saying.
Yeah, and that has helped actually a lot in our relationship, where I have told her what has happened, and she just, okay, real calmly says, I can't be around you right now. I need some time alone. And so we just give each other a little space in the house. I mean, I don't go leaving and go away for the weekend or nothing. But so with that, we would like to share one of the tools that has helped us build trust in our marriage. It is a routine that we have learned from going through therapy at Addo Recovery here in Utah. We simply call them trust discussions. So we do this each night. It consists of 6 steps that help build trust between each other. And it's actually, yeah, they're not too bad, depending on how much you have to say. But it's actually helped me to open up and be more trusting with the way she'll react, and for her to be trusting to what I have to say, and just to build up that connection between each other. So the first thing I tell her is whether I managed or not. And managing consists of whether I was able to control my thoughts in the way of not double taking at a woman, or for some out there, it could be a man, women, whatever. Or a glance that is longer, 3 seconds or longer. So anything under 2 seconds is okay. Single glances is of course okay. You got to be aware of who's around you, situation, but you're not double taking, and you're not glancing for longer than 3 seconds. So there may be a situation where I have to look at somebody for longer than 2 seconds. Like it could be somebody like a cashier at the store, somebody in conversation, a coworker maybe that you're having a conversation with. But at that point, it's if I'm able to control lustful thoughts. So double takes, 2 second glances, or if I was able to control thoughts or not. And if I'm not able to control any of those, at least one time a day, then I did not manage for the day. And all I have to simply tell her is that I managed or I didn't. And It depends sometimes on the situation. Like I can tell her why I didn't manage and how I may have learned from it. And then I also cover any wins I had. If there was a situation I did see somebody who I felt like I wanted to double take, or anybody I wanted to stare at for longer than 3 seconds, then I talk about that. Kind of the situation I was in, the thoughts that I had, and what I did about it. Usually I'm driving, so it's warming up outside, and it's usually like a jogger. And so when I initially see somebody, and I know, okay, I can't look as I'm driving, of course. I can't look to my left for 5 seconds until I'm past that person, I'm clear. Then that was obviously a win. I recognized the temptation, and I
Overcame it.
yeah, I overcame it. I acted upon it. I blinded myself from it, or I turned away from it. I put myself into a different situation depending on where that temptation took place. The next thing I cover is what happened during the day in general. Just kind of where I stopped, what happened at work, maybe the traffic to and from work, and anything interesting I might have seen while I was out. Third, I talk about any emotions that I had, especially negative emotions. Most of the day, it's positive emotions. Some days could be positive emotions over lots of different things. But you try to focus on what happened negatively and the emotions you had, what you're feeling at the time, and if need be, I would use an emotional wheel. We will have a link to an emotion wheel that you can use. Feel free to save it, download it, print it, hang it up wherever you need to be able to use it in your life. It's really helpful. There's lots of emotions on there. Guys, we have 3 main emotions: happy, sad, mad. So this emotion wheel really expands your vocabulary of emotions that you have and you can feel, and there's nothing wrong with feeling those emotions. And it's important to be able to recognize those negative emotions that you have throughout the day, because then you can recognize what kind of situation you were in, what somebody may have said, or what kind of triggers, temptations that you had that led you to having those emotions. The fourth thing that we cover is our plan for the next day. Usually go over, this is more of a conversation between the two of us. We usually cover this, her day and my day at this time. Just what, the plan of the day is, going to work and coming back, or if there's any stops between there. Know what each other are doing during the day, and it also helps her to know what I'm doing, where I'm going, and really who I'm going to be with. Alright, now this fifth item is usually not, it hasn't been brought up too often recently, but it's any relapses or slips that I may have had during the day. And we will cover this in more detail in another video, what we consider the differences between relapses and slips. But it's generally if I looked at any pornography, if I masturbated, or acted out in any way. This is my time, to be honest, and about what happened. We usually do this, we're sitting down at the couch together after the kids are asleep and in bed. So there's really no reason why this isn't an opportunity to come clean about this. This is within the whole 24-hour period, the 24-hour grace period. And finally, once I'm all done with that, then I open it up to questions and comments from her. Generally at this time, or during this time, she is sitting there quietly. She's just listening. She's giving me time to talk without interrupting, again, except for the whole plan of the day part. But then we generally go back to where, okay, it's my turn to talk, and she just listens without interrupting. It gives me time to also think about what I'm going to say and put my thoughts together without interruptions and distractions and side conversations.
And then that also gives me the opportunity to just listen and act and not react if he does have a relapse or something negative does happen. And then at the end, when it's open for comments, then I'm able to then ask more if I do have, things that need to be cleared up, or ask more about the emotions that he was feeling. Like he said, he hasn't relapsed in quite some time. So that hasn't been brought up, but it is often, questions about like, well, why do you think you were feeling this way? Or why do you think that happened? So, but it gives me time to be able to process things before I just kind of like jump at it.
Yep. And then after that, we go into her day.
And for me, that usually just means going over my day. It helps me to be able to just talk with him about what might have happened during the day. It gives us an opportunity to have that open communication, which is really helpful, obviously, in a marriage. And then I also talk about emotions that I might have had during the day, negative ones. There could be times where I just feel really frustrated or upset, or something that he said might have bothered me. And during that time, I'm able to openly talk to him about it instead of just holding it in and letting that build up inside of me. And then I open it up for questions or comments from him as well. But usually my part goes a lot faster than his. So
that about wraps up this episode on honesty and kind of what we've been doing in our lives, in our marriage, to rebuild that trust between us after the effects of my pornography use and the choices that I have made because of that.
And I want to add that we have not been perfect at honesty. It's taken a lot of work to get to where we are at now, but especially with doing the trust discussion, that has really helped to build the trust and to open up the honesty communication between us.
And also, there's been nights where we haven't done trust discussions every night, whether it's we go to bed different times, or we just got busy and went to bed, or it got late. So it's just important to remember the progress, not perfection. And as you progress together, then your trust discussions will get better, and the frequency of your trust discussions will improve.
Again, you guys, we appreciate all your comments and everyone that has reached out to us so far. Remember that we are not perfect. We are not therapists in any way. We want to hear what you have to say. We want to be able to answer as many of your questions. But if you do feel like you need professional help, go get professional help. Don't just rely on what we have to say. These are our experiences, and we have learned a lot from them. So we just want to be able to pass that on to you.
Because we have had a lot of good experience and have learned a lot from professional therapists. There is a stigma out there about individuals or couples seeking therapy, family marriage therapy, whatever. But we love it. We have learned a lot, like we said, and it has helped us to improve our marriage. And we highly recommend it. Just get over those emotions and embarrassment of seeing a therapist and go get help. Thank you again for watching, and please like this video, subscribe to the channel. You'll get notifications when we come out with new videos, and we have many topics to cover. Again, if you have any comments, you can post them below or email us. Our email is in the description. We would love to hear from you.
And most importantly, you guys, don't forget to share this video. We've said before, pornography addiction is not something that you can tell just by looking at them. So share this video, get it out to as many people as you can, and thank you again so much for watching. We love you guys. We appreciate you, and we'll see you next time.
See you next time.
Bye.